Welcome to this week's Force.com cast, where we're going to continue building our stateful controller using JSON. So this week's video is going to be a short one, but a very important one. What we're going to do is look at how we can retrieve a previous session or instantiate a new one for our users. And next week, when we build our wizard process, this is going to be really key for us, as it's going to help us to decide which session we should reload, and then we're going to add just a little kind of tweak in it to enable us to show to see which step we should be on. So this is the controller we had from last week, and what we do in this is we're just retrieving the session state using the standard controller. What we're going to do now is we're going to replace this code. So this code at the moment will only work for us if we go into an existing session state, but we can have multiple session states for each user. And what we want to try and do is restrict it so there's only going to be one. So if we just comment that code out, and what we're going to do is copy in this other code that I've pre-made earlier, save that up in the background, and what this code does is it retrieves all of the states where the created by ID is our current user ID. So what we're going to try and do is have it so that we create a single state once, and then we'll be able to use that state again and again and again going forward. And as you can see, we're still only using the single save method here, where it's going away and doing our upsert work for us and returning the page reference. But going forward, if we don't have a state saved, it will instantiate a new state, otherwise it will retrieve the previous state. We've got it as a list of session states here, because if this returns with no records, it'll just create a list of size 0, which is what we're checking for here. If there is no states, we're just going to create a new dummy state and a new dummy controller, or new state and a new dummy controller. Otherwise, what we're going to do is set session to be the first state, and then we're just going to create our controller as we did before. So if we go into our system now and refresh the page just to make sure everything's updated properly, when we look at our list of all of the states, you can see that I've removed the ones we had previously. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new session state. And what we'll notice is, first of all, it creates a brand new state for us with default and integer 1 as our information. So if I now go in and save this as, I don't know, updated and integer as 100 and hit save, this will go away and save this for us, and it will return us to the list, and we can see that our state's been saved here, updated, and mine is 100. Now if I now click on the new session state button again, the system goes away in the background, queries all the session states that exist for my user, and will always return this one. So I can't create a brand new state, so I can only have one state saved at a time, which when you're having users go in and do wizards and things like that, is going to be really useful for us, so we can identify the correct state to bring back. What I can also check, however, is that if I click on this one, I can see the values, and when I click edit, it still overrides our page correctly to return this information. So what we're going to see in next week's video is how we can put these two parts together. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this session state here, so all of this code we've got, and we're going to add a wizard component in it, so we have a next button and a previous button that will store the position we are in the wizard, and our state will be saved every time we move backwards and forwards as well. So effectively our save method down here is going to be called multiple times, just updating the state in the background every time we move the page as it re-renders the page, and we have a series of components that allow us to display or hide information on the page for us.